Hey YouTube, how's it going? Today will mark the third installment of my Twilight Challenge reading. I'm going to be, as I did with New Moon and Twilight, I'm going to be recording my reaction to the book Eclipse, and hopefully we'll see how I like it. Alright, here's something I don't get. I'm only on page 6, but in the last book, Edward basically proposed to Bella. He said, hey, if you want me to turn you into a vampire, then marry me first. And she's all, raw, I don't want to marry you. I don't understand why. She wants to spend the rest of eternity with him, but she won't go to, sign a piece of paper and go in front of a judge or a priest or anyone. I mean, it says, ugh, I shuddered away from the thought of the word fiance. Really? Really? Ugh. I hate this part of the book, the beginning of a book that isn't the first one in a series, where they basically have to go through and explain everything that's happened in the past books, but they try not to do it obviously, but it's still kind of obvious. And again, I know it's the beginning of the book, but I hate hearing about how perfect and beautiful he is. Oh. Edward certainly is a protective, demanding kind of boyfriend, isn't he? You can't have friends who are from La Push and blah blah blah. And I get that it could be dangerous, but Jacob's also her best friend, and I feel like Edward's kind of being a butt about it. Not gonna lie, I know I'm 3 books into this, but it still strikes me as weird that Bella calls her father Charlie and her mother Renee instead of mom and dad. See, I think I like Bella's mom because she notices the fact that, on page 68 by the way, that Bella and Edward are like so intense about each other, it's weird. Like, they are so intent on being close to each other and on their relationship, and for an 18-year-old, it's kind of weird. I mean, I guess not so much for a guy who's 110, but still. Alright, so I know that in the end of the book, she's going to end up with Edward. I'm fine. I mean, obviously that's what's going to happen. But I definitely think that Bella is a happier person when she's with Jacob. Like, she smiles, and he isn't so crazy overprotective of her. And he lets her have fun. I know, a weird thing, right? I don't know. Okay, so I get this imprinting thing where a werewolf finds someone that's like their soulmate and basically they fall in love with them and that's the person they want to marry and all that jazz. But seriously, one of the werewolves imprinted on a 2-year-old. That's creepy. Wow, what a big surprise. Someone's after Bella again. I never saw that coming from the last 2 books. Not gonna lie, it's nice to see Edward give Bella a chance. I was getting really worried about the message that it was sending with his, intense, possessive behaviors. I don't know how I felt about that. I'm really beginning to think there are just too many characters in this book. I mean, I know it's a 4-book series, so you're gonna have a lot of characters, but she's got so many friends at school, and she's got so many vampires, and there's, like, so many different covens, and I'm getting a little lost on who's who. I mean, for the most part, I've got it down, but there are just so many, like, interrelationships. I'm just glad that, Bella doesn't have a huge extended family. No way! Page 327. Jacob loves Bella? I never saw that coming. And then Bella tries to punch Jacob and breaks her hand. Is that even possible? Wait. I'm on page 348, and they're just now realizing that the vampire who broke into Bella's room is the same vampire who, is wrecking havoc in Seattle. I thought that this was already well known. The only way I could get this book to drag more would be if I were to tie a string around it and pull it behind me. Yeah, there's a lot going on, and thank God we've gotten away from how hot and adorable and handsome and whatever Edward is, but there's still a lot of repetition. And again, they're talking about sex without ever actually saying the word sex, which just makes me giggle uncontrollably. I definitely think that this chapter wins the awkward award because they keep talking about sex, but they won't say the word sex, and they just finally said sleep with, but ooh, that's a little risque still, and Bella's just really horny, and it's hilarious. I'm around page 495 or so, and it's adorable. There's male bonding time between Edward and Jacob. Aww. Really, 1 minute she's totally in love with Edward, and the next she lets Jacob kiss her because he says he's gonna kill himself? and suddenly she's in love with him? What is going on in this girl's mind? She's crazy. You gotta love it, the vampires and the werewolves fighting together. I guess her action scenes aren't so bad, and it's definitely nice to get away from the lovey-dovey romance that is making me feel a little nauseous, but, I don't know, I feel like she could definitely have dragged these scenes out more. It really does just seem kind of selfish of Bella to continue saying, yes, Jacob, I love you, but I'll never love you enough as much as I love Edward, so I love you, but it's just not enough. But I love you, and you should always remember that I love you. And so he's like, yeah, I'll always be waiting in the wings, I'll always be there for you. And she's like, yeah, I love you, I wish we could be together. But it just feels like she's still stringing him along and giving him hope. And suddenly Edward says that, hey, compromise be damned, let's have sex. And she says no. And what the heck, the epilogue is in Jacob's voice? What's with the sudden switch? You can't go through 2.5, well, pretty much 3 books, and then in the epilogue of the 3rd suddenly have a new narrator. And everything's, I don't know, okay through Jacob's mind. I mean, it's written basically in the exact same tone as Bella's, except a little less apologetic, so it doesn't really sound any different. But then one sentence just, it sounds wrong. I made a, page 625, I made a face as I pulled my arm through the retarded sling and grabbed my crutches. Why would it just, retarded sling? Really? And thus, Eclipse is finished. 1 book to go, and then I'll be done. I'm pretty excited about that. I'm going to, again, reserve judgment and make a final call when I've finished Breaking Dawn, so we'll see how that goes. My name is Keps, and I approve this message.